A great performance often means a great landing spot, and Swizzy and Potrick understood it. And if we have a look to their landing spot, they are claiming the dungeon here to get the bot and the vault. They are claiming the little station here to claim a bit more of metal and of course loot. And they finish their loot and their rotation by the jungle here so they can complete their metal, they can complete all the materials, their stuff. There are a few barrels, few slot plants, one rare chest here, so they can easily complete the stuff and go for rotation like Project is here to go and already start doing the mages on Korean pings on display. There come one of the most interesting part of the strategy. After looting village and a house is there, they're going for the castle here to get the bot first and so the vault. However, when the second zone started, Kronos and Ichi instantly came and claimed the castle over blocking Potrick by going here because of the advantage of the high ground they got, and they pushed Potrick and Swizzy to a normal and classic area where they don't get any advantage. And they were quite lucky they got pushed away from it, and they were quite lucky they got this bot. And getting the bot allowed them to keep the card for them and not to give it to Kronos and Ichi waiting for the high ground. Just so Ichi and Kronos had two possibilities. The first one, go and fight directly Swizzy and Putrick here to get the card and get the vault as well. Or the second possibility, Ichi and Kronos go away and try to continue the game by themselves. Of course, Swizzy wants to go in, they see Ichi who is alone on his side. He wants absolutely the vault and he'll get it. So of course they instantly tried to push in to get the vault. We need to notice that at this moment Putrick and Swizzy were 24th at the leaderboard while Ichi and Kronos were 4th. This is the 5th game out of 6. So Kronos and Ichi absolutely needed to avoid the maximum of risks. So they go away in the leaderboard for Putrick and Swizzy, and you'll see that was the reason why they could clutch so hard. While they were still looting on the vault, something really important for the strategy appeared. This catch here has been a whole part of the strategy. Whatever the moment of the game is, the catch is still something which is really important and really useful. It brings a lot of heals, it brings slurp juice, and a bit of weapon, but if you have a look to Swizzy's loot right now, does he really need any more weapon? I don't think so. However, they go for the cash because it gives metal that they can actually have, and as we see right now on Swizzy stuff, they are actually really good in terms of metal, but it still brings more resources for a risk which is not so important. We now start the real late game, and the first big move happens, Pucci getting cracked 1 HP, which costs 1 slurp juice, and they still are not in zone. Budrick is getting boxed and getting killed, which lets Swizzy alone without mate for the moment. He tries to go back, he gets the body, he claims it, he still can try to revive at this moment of the game. It is probably the last zone where you can really allow yourself to revive your mate. We're still trying to fully watch towards where people can come from. Now the goal of Swizzy is just to hold every wall. Potrick didn't get finished, so he still has his slurps to try to heal himself. He has splashes which are going to be really useful for all the rotations. This is not really interesting from Swizzy. He tried to open while he didn't have the information about his mates. Now his mates were not looking at him, where his mates were not looking at the same sites. His mates were not looking at the same people and he still tried to open. Now they need to rotate. So they can use splash or not. We're going to stay on Potrick's POV for the moment. Once again, a bit late, he has to go through a more open zone. If we have a look here, Pucci had to go through a kind of really open area, so he got knocked. I'd say a bit early, but we're late anyway, and he goes into an area where it were kind of open, and he didn't really try to build much. So I understand why. Is, there is the beginning of the real clutch from Swizzy. Swizzy continues and tries to go on. He will overuse this augment. I think that's the soaring jump or soaring boots. I don't remember exact name. There he sees someone got knocked in and he need material, so he's going to go for it. He has slurps, so that's not a huge problem if he takes some damages on the zone. This perk will really help him to go through and using less materials than needed. Now he wants to go in, but he can't, of course. He has a lot of materials, so he doesn't really need to take a peek at this moment. He goes in, still didn't use much heals, trying to, of course, farm a little bit. It is something that a lot of people forget to do during the late game because they want to focus on something else. No, he just needs to reload. He has a really great weapon. He knows that he can go for an additional refresh. The splash here allows him to run into it and to overuse the soaring jump. He still has metal, and the metal is extremely important, even more at this moment, and his material management is not so bad after his refresh. Of course, here he sees an opportunity, he goes. If you watch to the action a bit more slow, we see he tried instantly right after breaking the floor above, he instantly tried to place the roof because he knows Trickster is in his own box. So Trickster has a bit of sound and has reflexes. He knows, Swizzy knows that Trickster is probably going to go down, and the first reflex is not even to shoot. Well, he could have killed it, but he wants to be sure he will 100% get the kill by placing this roof below Trickster, and now he's fully sure that he can kill him. Now he waits and he checks a bit everywhere to be sure no one is going to come on his back to get the stuff. Someone is going behind. It is a bit a problem. Now you see he's going to be holding the roof in case where Split and UK here want to go up and break it. So if going for this brick and this refresh might seem something really easy and really normal, but he has been really careful about it. And even during the deep late game, he could think about it. Once again, he overuses the soaring jump to go ahead of the zone. It is not a problem if he takes a few damages because he has the slope going on. Tries to check if he can damage. Thanks to the Siphon coming back, damaging all the time in late game is really important because you can get a Siphon and 50 additional HPs if the guy dies from the storm. Here he wanted to wait a bit in zone to see if the zone pulls back towards him, so he doesn't need to use any more heals early, which was the case. Here he doesn't have any more hard materials, so he watches a bit more. He sees that he can basically go for the loot, and he will. This Medmis carried a lot. Now he goes back, goes ahead of the zone once again. He sees that someone is med spraying. Now I think this is the sequence you've seen in the introduction, where it goes back in the storm, use the mid mist, uses the last splashes that he had. He wants, for the moment I don't think he was thinking that he could win the game. Now he tries to come closer because the mid mist is ending soon. Huge pump shot in the head of Rabbit here, and he sees the opportunity directly to go for the high gun that Marine and Kirill left to go and kill him. And now he's just keeping the high ground, using the bit of med spray that he still has. He has two walls trying to shoot on Marine and got the kill because they got no additional materials.